Well, I'm just here to document everything that's happening at all times. I'm really trying to get into this documentary work with this film, and
I was shooting the behind the scenes, and we had to have. They offered me the position as a production manager right before production started, and it's a credit on the film. So I was like, of course, I'd love to take it, and I think it'd be the perfect first position for me to learn a lot more of the overall what happens on a production, by leading it and pushing through with the scheduling. So coming in as a production manager in the beginning, I did believe that I was gonna have a hard time getting into the role and leading the role because I was fresh to it, but I wasn't fresh to it. I've been hearing about the film since the beginning of the screenwriting process with the director. He told me the initial idea, how that initial idea changed 80 times or something like that. So by the time I got to the film, I already knew the story. I already read the script a million times. I had it down, so it was one of those opportunities where I got lucky, and I was prepared.
So if she has them for an hour and a half. So we have to back.
The organization for this film was, in some sense, very detailed, because I think for the most part it was because of the time crunch we were trying to get the film done in. So a lot of the organization for the film came in with the props. The director and the producer had a plan of how the props were being organized so that when we got to the scene, we knew exactly what prop we needed. We had a list. We knew exactly what prop we needed and where to find that prop and where it needs to be. So the organization for the scene setups were done. They were good to go by the time we got to it. The organization in terms of what scenes we shoot what day came down to the lighting with the sun and where it needed to be, whether it was night, what kind of lights we need indoors. And it also came down to one of the most important parts of it was the acting. Making sure that we had the scenes that took up a lot of the emotional energy out of the actors to be a shorter day, just so that we can focus a lot more deeply on the kind of acting that they had and brought to the scene. And also, the organization of the scenes came down to having a balanced energy throughout the whole film, where we're not too tired and we're not too full of energy. So it was more like we had a lot more balance.
4.5 hours of shooting content. That's not including a lunch. 1:53 and 1:49.
9, and then shooting the scene after 7:30.
1:99. We're gonna need this room dark.
First thing, first shot.
First shot of the day.
That would mean that we'd start shooting at 1:30.
Okay. And then 192.
And then we're on 182.
It was one of the things that the director taught me a lot about work in any kind of field. You organize your day to make sure that it's realistic to the point that you know you're going to get this amount done. That way we feel a lot more happy and fulfilled at the end of the day, rather than striving for a big goal and being a bit super ambitious and not being able to finish the day and feeling like we were let down in a certain way. So the organization of each scene and the minute rundown of the day felt realistic. And it always felt like, yeah, we're going to get this done for sure. And we always did.
Graham has a very unique process when it comes to working with a composer and working with music for his films. I thoroughly enjoy it because he knows what he wants, and there aren't many directors who I feel in some ways know what they want right away with the music. And I think the way Graham describes his story and what he wants for themes and moods, different tensions, the way he describes these in conversation makes it very easy for me as a composer to dive in with the music and kind of translate what he's asking for. So I'll write a main theme, but within that theme, I'll break it down into individual strands of, like, let's say it's violins and piano and low strings and brass. I will organize everything so that every element will work well with each other, but can be, when taken out of context, can be just as strong, because Graham likes to overlay and arrange the music well after I've put together a theme or a group of themes. And it's really interesting how he is able to interpret, my work and my vision for what the music should be and match it in in the best way possible for his film. He's brought ideas to me even after I've written where it's like, hey, I reversed this part and I swapped out this piano line for this string line here instead. And I'm like, that's brilliant. That works way better than what I originally thought. And we'll often be on the same page a lot of the time in terms of just overall feel and mood. Honestly, I've been very lucky where I've only had to do a couple drafts, maybe of one or two different things, and I send it off and I'm like, is this any good, do you think? And Graham's very gracious in saying, yes, more please. So it's a very unique way to work, but it's inspiring and I really enjoy it.
A unique opportunity to have seen the first step all the way through to the end of production. I haven't seen much of the editing, but just that big portion gave me a lot of insight of what it takes to make a feature film, and it's a lot.